Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Rowan, so let's get into it. Alrighty, let's go ahead, and first off, we will pull up Rowan in the Bannerlords faction. Rowan is an epic down here void attack character, and first off, we'll look at the base speed of 108. That is crazy. One of the highest base speeds in the game. I think Arbiter is like 110. There's a couple other ones that are in the upper 100s like Venus and stuff, but 108 in terms of base speed is absolutely insane. We've got an A1 that attacks one enemy with a 50% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Damage increases according to speed. That's pretty cool. One of the only abilities in the game that I think scales damage with speed, so I really like that. That's very interesting. And obviously this is going to be S tier against like the Spirit Keep boss, where you've got an A1 that places a 100% heal reduction, so a very good ability there. If you're struggling with the Spirit Keep and you have Rowan, she can really come in clutch for you. Alright, A2 is attacked 3 times at random, each hit with a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Stun is incredible for CC, like in dungeons, faction wars, when you're facing like normal enemies. 3 times at random, and each hit with a 50% chance when you book her up to place a stun debuff. Very good for a lot of different scenarios like dungeons and faction wars. Alright, the A3 is attack 1 enemy 4 times, each hit with a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Which is funny because she's a very good hero for like dungeons and normal enemies, but then she has this random ability thrown in that's very good against the clan boss, or like against the boss of a dungeon, because she's going to be hitting 1 enemy and placing 5% poisons for 2 turns. So yeah, it's an interesting ability thrown in there, but you can get some value out of it in the right situation. Then we've got an aura here, increase ally accuracy and faction crypts by 50. A pretty decent faction crypts aura, so not an amazing aura, but it's good for faction crypts. So yeah, as always for my champion guides, I will have one of these infographics down in the video description that you can look over. It's just going to be showing the masteries that I currently use on my Rowan, the optimal sets, the and actually this is the first time that I've thrown in the book requirements here on the top left. So you'll notice we've got 4, 8, 12. That's how many books it's going to take to max out Rowan. So this is the first time that I'm throwing that number in here at the top left. If you're curious, 12 is probably about average for an epic champion. They typically take about 8 to 14, somewhere in there. Anything above 14, you've got some like Sakara takes like 18, but you've also got some ones like Doom Priest that take very few, like 4 or 5 books. So typically it's like 8 to 14, somewhere in there. So 12 is pretty average and about what you can expect for an epic. So yeah, in terms of grades, I gave her a B- in the campaign. She can be a campaign farmer for you, but she's not very fast at it. Clan boss, she would be garbage against the clan boss, but she does have that one ability that places a bunch of poison. So I gave her a C. Didn't really know what to give her. She's not end game ideal against the clan boss, but she at least has that one ability that places a bunch of poison, and she's void, so she'll never be weak. Arena D+, she's not really going to be good. I mean, I guess her one ability, if you get it off, she has a good base speed. You can place some stuns. That's why I didn't give her an F, but she's definitely not like an arena meta character. Dungeons B+, she's pretty good. Against the boss, she can place all those poisons. She's got the stuns. She's got the heal reduction. So she's got some general utility in dungeons B+. Faction Wars, she is really good, because in Faction Wars, on almost all the levels that we're farming, it's going to be nothing but trash mobs. So there's no bosses. It's just like a wave of trash mobs, wave of trash mobs, wave of trash mobs, no boss. So she can basically stun everything and do heal reduction and place poisons and has a really good base speed. She's void, so she's never weak. That's very good in Faction Wars. No matter what level you're farming, you don't have to worry. She's good to go. She's not going to be weak. So yeah, that's gonna kind of do it, and that will be down in the video description in terms of that. So let me go ahead and pull up my Rowan here. All right, and we will see here, I've got the 85 plus 15 crit rate. You do want her critting. All of her abilities inflict damage, all 3 of them. So you do want her critting and doing good damage for you. Yeah, I gave her, because of that, I gave her crit rate gloves, attack chest, and speed boots. Now, I don't have insane gear on her because she's mainly a Faction Wars hero for me. So typically, my secondary gear goes to my Faction Wars champions, my primary gear goes to my Clan Boss champions, and then my dungeon farmers are going to get like the sub-primary gear. And then secondary gear goes on Faction Wars champions like Rowan. But let me show you here in the campaign. 12-3 on Brutal, which I think your introduction to the endgame farming in Brutal, is Brutal. I know Nightmare campaign is out now, but it's definitely viable to farm Brutal campaign, and some would argue Brutal is actually better than Nightmare because you do get more silver per energy, and a lot of people are struggling with silver. So I'll go ahead and show you Rowan in action here. You can see here, you know, bursting down an enemy here on Brutal, and there is an AoE. And I don't even have like a T6 damage mastery on her. I've got her really kitted out in a T6 mastery for speed. So she could definitely hit harder than she is, but she's hitting pretty decent. So yeah, as you can see, she soloed 12-3 Brutal very easily without amazing gear, and some of the pieces weren't even level 16. So I'm not even like unlocking the full true potential of Rowan because I have her in secondary gear, and she still can farm the Brutal campaign just fine. And that's without a T6 damage mastery. I'll show you here. Let's go back to Rowan, Masteries. So yeah, I've actually never used this mastery, Oppressor, which has increased the turn meter fill rate by 2.5% for each active debuff cast by this champion. I noticed that a lot of her abilities are casting debuffs. So you've got debuff, debuff, debuff. So I was like, you know, she can probably keep this up pretty consistent, and it's just a 10% turn meter fill rate. So I'm going to go with that, test it out, and let her really snowball those turns in Faction Wars for me. Let her get those stuns off as often as possible. So I went with that. If you're going to use her for like just the campaign and stuff, you might want to switch it to like flawless execution here. But honestly, it works just fine. She's obviously not an end game campaign farmer, but she is capable of doing it. If she's one of your best epics in the game and you're needing to invest in somebody, you invested in Rowan, you're wondering what you can do, there you go. That'll do it for you. Let me also go over the reviews, and I like to do this live in video to kind of just go through and grade her in every aspect of the game. I also like to look at the recommended artifacts and see if it's accurate. Accuracy is very important on her. You'll notice in my infographic, I have speed and accuracies because all of her abilities are based around debuffs. So accuracy is very crucial. So I do like that. I would have liked it if it was like 4-piece speed and 2-piece accuracy, but accuracy is very important, so I'll give it that. And it's got crit rate, attack percentage, and speed as stats. So all in all, pretty good there with the recommendations. All right, Clan Boss 4.7 is way too high. I don't know why she's like that. Oh man, she's only got the one ability, but she's never weak. I'll give her a 3. Arena offense. If you can get her stun off and she has an amazing base speed, I'll give her a 3. Fire Knight. So she's got her A2 and A3 hit multiple times. I think it's like 3 and 4 times, but her A1 is a single hitter. She's void, so she's never weak. An A1 is a single hitter. I can't give you a 4 or 5, so I gotta go 3. Campaign, we'll give her a 4. Spirit Keep, 5. How is she a 4.6? She has an A1 that has 100% heal reduction, and she's void, so she's never weak. This should be like a 4.9 right here, so that's very interesting. Spider, 2. Arena defense, 2. Dragon, 3. Minotaur, 4. Void Keep's pretty straightforward. I'll give her a 4. Ice Golem, 3. Force Keep. It's a high defense boss, so yeah, 3. Magic Keep, she doesn't really remove shield or ignore shield or anything, so 3. So yeah, you'll see she's just kind of like generally useful and mostly shines in the Spirit Keep and like Faction Wars. Faction Wars isn't on here. I probably would give her a 4 or a 5, and the Arcane Keep is not on here. I would give her a 4 for Arcane Keep and 5 for Faction Wars probably. So we'll submit those. And yeah, that's going to kind of do it for this guide on Rowan. Just wanted to, you know, switch it up and do an epic. I've been doing, I think my last few champion guides have been legendaries. So I wanted to do an epic, and my next one might be a rare. I do want to do a good array of champions on my champion guides. So yeah, if you use Rowan, definitely let me know down in the comments what you think about her. And I always enjoy hearing what you think. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.